There is another reason why we have no need to fear, and it's found in the Old Testament prophecy of Isaiah. We'll read it in chapter 43 and verses 1 and 2. But now thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. This is a very special reason not to fear, and it all hinges on the lovely idea of redemption. In our reading, the Lord says, "Fear not, for I have redeemed thee," in verse 1. In the ancient world, when people talked about redemption, it often brought to their minds the idea of slavery, which was a very common practice for many centuries and millennia. It was a very sad fact that many slaves were treated very badly, even cruelly, and there's no doubt that they had every reason to fear both their masters and what their masters might do to them. We can read about the mistreatment of a whole nation of slaves in Exodus chapter 1, verses 13 and 14. And this is what we read. The Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. In other words, they were subject to harsh treatment, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage. So what was the solution to this intolerable situation? And again, it's summed up in the word redemption. After God brought the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses explained to them how the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. We read that in Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 8. When the blood of the Passover lamb was shed and applied to the doorposts of their houses, when they passed through the Red Sea on dry land, they were freed from their bondage and delivered from their fears. In Exodus chapter 20, we're told that the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. The Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. Exodus 14, verses 27 and 30. They really knew the truth of the words we've just read. When thou passest through the waters, I will be with thee, verse 2. Once they were redeemed from Egypt, they no longer had to listen to, much less obey, the voice of their Egyptian taskmasters. There was only one voice they had to listen to. It was the voice of their Redeemer, the Lord. I was out with my good friend Jim Moore yesterday, and he shared these words with me. When you have only one master, there is only one voice that you have to listen to. You see, the trouble is that we listen to far too many voices, the voices of our fears, for example, instead of the voice that really matters. Whenever we fear that we're alone, listen to his words. I will be with thee, in verse 2. When we fear that we will be overwhelmed, listen to his words. They shall not overflow thee. When we fear that we will be consumed, listen to his words. Thou shalt not be burned. You see, he has redeemed us for himself. There is no way that he will abandon us even now.